Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with the market trader. My name is Ray, the market trader. And before we get started, just wanted to kind of encourage folks who are not already a subscriber to the service to consider to do so. And if you'd like to get some additional deeper content and more context, consider to become a member. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to our session, and we'll start off with our risk disclosure here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and share our screens here, and we'll begin. All right, so first thing we want to go through here, just high level, is risk disclosure. Just want to remind everyone that the content that's being distributed and it should be treated as general information only. None of the information provided is intended as investment advice. Okay. We all understand that the uses of this information is to be used at your own risk. And that more importantly, we should not be using capital that we depend on, but risk capital that we can otherwise afford to potentially lose and not impact our lifestyles. Okay, so with that said, let's go ahead and move on to our news portal here and take a look and see what we have in news today that could impact the markets. All right, good morning, Trader Alejandro, Greg. Good morning. All right, let's go ahead and turn our attention over to the news. Okay, looks like we got some news here from China that was actually impactful. We have a fair amount of news today. I'm just going to pause here, make sure everybody can see my screen. Good morning. Okay. See, bring this up again. All right. So again, we have a fair amount of news, fair amount of reports that could impact the markets. At 9:45 today, we have PMI for services, manufacturing, and composite PMI at 9:45 Eastern. We have some inflationary information coming in at 10 a.m. Eastern. Okay. From Michigan, we have the 5-year inflation number as well as the 1-year inflation number coming in at 10 a.m. today. Okay, so a bit of news that can definitely move the markets. Okay, so something to be aware of. So 9:45 and 10 a.m. All right. So now that we've gotten through, hey Michael, now that we've gotten through the news here, we'll turn our attention to the portal. Okay, and not the portal, but the trading platform. And we'll go ahead and start in on our review of the charts. Okay. All right. Let's start off with the gold. All right. We always start off with a gold here. Looks like we got a little bit of a gap to the upside here. Okay. To open the day. And now it looks like we have a little bit of an indecision bar developing for this day. Right. But we have been and continue to be in a market that continues to show signs of strength, right? We are very much in a bullish trend, even with this indecision bar here that we're developing at the daily. So what does that maybe imply? That maybe we are in potentially we're potentially in a potential range day today, right? Could quite be a range day being the end of the week. And we are getting indications here on the daily chart that could very well be the case. All right. Let's just want to spot check here, make sure everything's visible. Okay. All right. So again, daily chart showing us some signs of continually showing signs of bullish price action. I'm just going to move this over here to another side here so I can keep an eye on both. All right, so daily chart bullish, 4-hour chart equally as bullish, but showing maybe a little bit of signs of range here, right? So we've been in this kind of bearish range of late. Okay, 1, 2, 3 candles here, showing us a little bit of range kind of price action. but we are still above some of our levels that we care about. All right, so 9 EMA still providing us a kind of strong indication here. If I add my ribbons, assuming that I have them here, do not have them here, but let's see if I can quickly add them. If I have my moving average ribbons, okay, see right here, okay, you can see that we're above all of them, right? Above the 20, above the 50, above the 100, above the 200, okay? All indicating that there is some further upside opportunities in this market. Taking a look at the 30 chart, to go ahead and turn off our ribbons here for a moment. If I can take a closer look at what kind of candles we're developing of late here. Looking at this from an Asia into London perspective, Asia, right? You can see, right? It was very much ranging, right? Market was quite ranging in Asia. As we approach the tail end of Asia, we got a break. We got a break to the downside in the Asia market. Now, I'm going to be interested to see if we indeed continue in this kind of range, or maybe potential continuation, right? Because we did break the range during London. We've come back to the edge of that range at 49, 49, 30. And now it appears that we're looking to maybe potentially continue in a downward direction. Okay. Now I'm going to do a little bit of Fibonacci analysis here. And if I take the most recent swing, the most recent break, okay, we're pulling back. And where could price go? Well, I've got a visual target here at 48.89. That would be I guess you can consider this kind of a measured move, right? A measured move of this swing. So we pull back to this Asia session, and now there's a possibility that we could potentially extend down to 48.89, and that would be consistent with kind of the bearish channel that we've been in of late. All right. Let's see. I'm going to take a look here at the fixed range volume profile here really quick and see where we kind of landed. Now this is all right. Let's pull this back here a little bit. All right. Right about here. Here we are. Okay. So again, we're just at the upper end of the value range. We did manage to close back inside, but it seems that at least for now, we've found maybe a few buyers here up at the edge of value, right? So we're flirting with the edge of value, flirting with maybe a continued sentiment of bullish price action. So it'll be interesting to see if we do indeed hold this level, if we hold above this value area high, and whether it offers us any sort of maybe reversal in current fortunes. Right now, it does appear that maybe we are going to potentially continue. There's certainly a possibility that we can maybe close back inside the range from yesterday and at least test the lows again. Okay, at least test 49.06. And like I said, the possibility of 48.89 is still very much in the cards. Okay, so I'm gonna at least come up with it, at least for the day session here. I'm gonna come up with more of a neutral to bearish kind of sentiment here that we have currently in the market. We were in a very strong market on the daily, showing a little bit of indecision here up at the highs, kind of giving me the indication that we might be in some sort of range today. So I'm going to go with a neutral to bearish. I do see 49.12 or 4900 probably will most likely be visited again today. It's not a fact, but that's kind of what I'm currently seeing. Now, if we start to continue to break some of these levels, right, if we do get back inside the value range, this case, Asia here, there's certainly a possibility that we rotate all the way back to the highs of the day. Okay. But right now, given the most recent price action, I'm seeing price action in London, okay, that indicate that we are looking maybe to continue lower. Okay. So I'm going to be using my, trusty channels, and the trusty channels are going to guide me here. Okay. If I get a close below the channel to the downside, I'm going to entertain a move. I'm going to entertain a trade to the downside using this 49.12 as maybe a preliminary target, and then ultimately down to this 48.89 level. Okay, just going to take a peek here and see if there's any questions on the market. But on this gold market, again, headed into the session, I'm more of a short-term neutral to bearish in this market. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the silver market, the market that we either love or hate. Silver is showing a little bit more signs of strength here. Okay, so we continue to show signs of strength. We are developing a candle, yet another candle that is to the bullish side, right? Gold, on the other hand, was creating a little bit of an indecision candle. Silver is not. Silver is, in some cases, leading the charge to the upside here. Okay, so very strong candle to the bullish, in the bullish direction. Kind of interesting that we have that kind of divergence between gold and the silver, but it is what it is. Okay, taking a look at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart again showing signs of some strength as we continue what appears to be a market that wants to continue to the upside. Again, we're obviously charting new territory here. We have in our sights 100 for sure, and 102 seems to be kind of based on this pattern here. 102 seems like a logical destination for this current move. Okay, let's go ahead now and take a look at the 30-minute chart. 30-minute chart. We're seeing again some continued signs of bullish price action. We are looks like let's see, 30-minute. We had Asia was a bit on the bearish side. London was quite bullish. Okay, so a little bit of an indication here of maybe possibly some range. Okay, so let's take a closer look, kind of confirm that view. So this is Asia. Okay, so Asia was bullish. Okay, bullish in Asia, came back to almost retest the initial balance high here. Okay, right, initial balance high. I'm going to turn this off here. Okay, almost came back to retest the initial balance high before it resumed its bullish price action. Taking a look at London. Okay, London also breaking out to the upside. Okay, so again, in comparison, it does appear that silver right now is kind of leading the charge to the upside in this market today. So I'm gonna give silver a bullish rating. Okay, and I think it's our job to figure out a location. I'm gonna go ahead and open up our initial balance range for the current session. Okay, I think it's our job to figure out a location where we might be able to participate in this market to the upside. Okay, right now we are inside the initial balance range that's developing, and we have another probably a good 45 minutes or so before this range is established, at which point we can decide which direction they want to take it. Again, if we get our break above the initial balance range, that could offer us a very nice opportunity, possibly to get to 100 is our 50% extension of the current range. And then we have up to 101 as our secondary targets. All right, so heading into the session, again, looking for opportunities maybe to participate in this market to the upside. And I'm basically looking for some opportunity areas or locations where I can manage my risk. So again, we're kind of coming off of a level here already. Here, okay, so this level right here does appear to be an area of some support. It's prior area of some resistance, so that might be an area that we might be able to entertain for a continuation trade. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the crude oil market. Crude oil market looks like caught a little bit of a bid here. Let's take a look at the daily, see what the daily is telling us. A lot of overlapping candles. Okay, barcoding here a little bit on the daily. The thing that I would say is that we're seeing more in the way of bullish candles than bearish candles, but they're not moving in any one direction, right? They're all kind of overlapping here, kind of barcoding here. Okay, Like I said, have mentioned here maybe in the prior, right? If we take a look at the most recent set of candles, well, you would say that maybe the market is looking to head higher. You get a little bit more context in this market, and you can see while we broke this channel, we have yet to break 62, right? We got to 62 and found some sellers. And now we've created a little bit of a supply area right here on the daily chart. This area right here is kind of showing me as maybe an area zone of resistance, right? We have not been able to close inside of it, but we have a candidate here that's maybe looking to come back into this level and potentially retest the highs at 62. Okay. So of late, like on the daily chart, like I said, it does appear to be a market that is trying to head higher. Okay. Looking at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, we're up against that little resistance zone that I had mentioned, but this is not the first attempt that we've come to this level here, right? This is now the second attempt, and assuming that we can get above this 60-80 level, which is again very common in the crude oil, there's the possibility that we could retest the highs here at 62. Okay, so 4-hour chart also looking a bit bullish. We have a logical support level that we've reacted away from here multiple times at 59. Okay, 59 seems to be a logical support level in this market on the 4-hour. Okay, so not unrealistic, I would say, if we do manage to break above the 60-80 level to maybe come back or reach the 62 level in this market. That's certainly not out of the question based on what I'm seeing here on the charts. All right. Taking a look at the 30-minute chart, we're about to maybe 9 minutes away from the open of this market. We'll go ahead and turn off some of our drawings. I think we have an idea now that 62 is kind of the target that we're kind of looking at right here. We see that price is above our 9 EMA. I don't seem to see, is it VWAP open? Let's open up VWAP. Also above our VWAP, okay, indicating. And then you can see that we're also above the visible range volume profile, all giving us indications that we are potentially in a bullish market. Okay, now we are a little bit extended away from VWAP and have not been at VWAP for some time. Now, obviously, if we do get an opportunity, maybe for a price to come back to that VWAP, that could offer us a little rotation back in, or continuation, I should say, to the upside. We are developing rather strong bullish candle. Right, I honestly do not see, assuming that we can break above this level, I do see 62 as a possible target for this market, but it needs to hold 60-80. Okay, 60-80 is the level that I'm seeing here, that it needs to hold in order for maybe a continuation move here to the upside in this market. Okay, test of value area high. That's kind of what I'm thinking. No, well, yeah, it's already exceeded. This is the visible range volume profile here on the right, right? So right now we're kind of testing it, correct? If we manage to stay above it, then what I'm kind of indicating, okay, what I'm kind of indicating is that we could do something like this, right? That's my current view, okay? Or at least the point of control, or at least the point of control, right? Of whatever this area is, okay? That's kind of my current view. But I think you understand where I'm coming from, Greg, right? So we're seeing some price action that would indicate that maybe continuation market, right? Right. So we have to kind of play and see if indeed it's going to play out. But that's my current hypothesis here. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a quick look here at the initial balance range across the various markets. We'll start off with the Tokyo session, and you can see Tokyo, not common, but we did see that we had a nice little range kind of well, not nice, but range kind of price action here in Asia. And again, guys, London, all right, London offered us a nice little move here. Okay, sustained move. Notice how there's really no gyrations here. Once price heads in the direction, we've been in this direction from 59.69 all the way to 61, right? So if you are a crude oil trader, okay, I would seriously entertain trading crude oil during the London session. Okay, because the London session does appear to be the session of choice when it comes to this market. Okay, all right. So headed into the session, I would have to say, at least on the short term, I'm looking at the market maybe as slightly more bullish. Okay, I'm going to be looking at the 60-80 level maybe as an opportunity, maybe 61 as an opportunity here, maybe for some continuation move in this market. All right, so I haven't said this in some time. I'm gonna say bullish. My on the short term, bullish sentiment on the crude oil. Okay, so I'm kind of taking a look here on the like indicators. So we're pretty solid there. Just kind of want to remind everyone that if you're not already a subscriber, to encourage you to do so. Please don't hesitate to go to the portal and give me a comment or two on how this analysis has supported or continues to support you in your analysis of the markets. And if you are so inclined and you are relatively new and or want some additional insights on some of the ways I trade, then I have some kind of membership level videos on various trades that I've taken in the past, leveraging the concepts that I discuss here on a daily basis. Okay. So with that, let's go ahead and look at the market that everybody wants to get an understanding of, and that is the equity markets. And we're going to go ahead and start off with the NASDAQ. Now you can see the NASDAQ, at least on a 30-minute, seems to be kind of in a range here, right? We continue to be in a range, right? So I'm going to go ahead and turn off this initial visible range volume profile here for a moment. And you can see, and I think I've drawn, if you attended my session, or not attended my session, but if you were a part of the Top Step opening call yesterday, you would probably witness me say that we are developing some sort of triangle pattern here, right? An ascending kind of wedge pattern here. So what is that telling us? That it's telling me that we are in some sort of range, that we need some sort of catalyst. Oh, excellent. Excellent, Sticks. Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate you. All right, so here we are. We are in some sort of range, right? Some sort of range. You can see that we have a lot in the way of overlapping candles. So if the daily chart is telling us that we are in a range, well, we have to approach the market in a range. And so what does that mean? That means that we need to focus in on extremes. Right now, we're in the middle of the range, not a very ideal area to be entertaining trades, right? On a daily chart, right? We want to be at some of these extremes, either the higher end of this wedge or the lower end of this wedge. We don't necessarily want to be in the middle, right? Okay, so let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, okay, here we are. Looking at the 4-hour chart, you can see that we have been in some sort of range and continue to be so. Like I think, if you heard me say this more than once, right? If I can contain price in a box, then I am in some sort of range kind of price action. And I can contain price in a box, right? We're barcoding here, right? One up candle, one down candle, one up candle, one down candle, and we're continuing this kind of direction here. Okay, so again, 4-hour charts kind of give us the same information that we've said before. Now we have filled in this gap, right? So we filled in this gap, so this could be a logical area where I would say that there's a possibility here that we might see a rotation or a reversal or a continuation, depending on how you are currently interpreting the market, to the downside, right? That we could easily see something along these lines, right? Let's go ahead and change this. I know some folks have kind of expressed. Let me change this to white. It might be a little easier to look at, right? Okay, that's kind of what I'm thinking right now, based on what I'm seeing on the 4-hour. We're seeing price below our VWAP, below our 9 EMA, and we are in range. Well, I don't see. We created a little bit of a fence line here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 candles that's saying 25,700 is a no-fly zone. okay, right now. Okay, that's kind of what it's saying here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 candles is saying that 25,700 is not an area that folks want to be a part of. Okay, so what happens? Well, they need to figure out an area where that people want to be a part of. Okay, so if we start to lose a little bit of the buyers, well, we start to have to auction the market lower to attract buyers again. Right now, buyers don't seem to be interested, okay, in these prices. They made an attempt to drive prices higher and they were met with some sellers. Okay. So 4-hour chart, not giving me much indication as to direction. If I had to guess which direction based on what I'm seeing here on the gap, I'm going to say to the downside. Okay. 30-minute chart. Looking at the 30-minute chart, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the fixed range volume profile for yesterday's session. We're going to kind of spot check that first and see where price is in relation to yesterday's trading session here. So we'll go back here and down here. Okay. And we'll drag this across to the close right there. All right. So here we are. Price is currently below value, right? So indicating that there's a good amount of interest, okay, in participants looking to pay a premium to be a part of this market to the downside. We made an attempt to come back into value, and again, we were met with some selling, okay? So if we do make a new low, which it appears that we are looking to make a new low, then we would want to hold that, right? And that would serve as a location. That would serve as a location for us to entertain a continuation trade, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and mark that level. Okay. So let's take a peek here on the various initial balance ranges and see what I think I already know here, but I will confirm. All right. So so we got Tokyo, right? Tokyo led the charge to the upside. Did not manage to get above the highs before it found some sellers in London. Okay, so London is not aligned with bullish, right? So opening this up again, moving it to London here. Okay, so found some sellers in London, right? Right. So again, start of London all the way, we got a break. Okay, got back to the VWAP, and again we got a break. Now, what we haven't been able to do is fall below this 25,550 level. So seems like we are in a little bit of a range right now. If we can't break this range, right, if maybe we create a little bit of a bottom of sorts, right? This is I'm seeing a little bit of a W pattern maybe developing here, right? So maybe we stay in range for today, right? If we can't break below 25,564, then we might be in some sort of range, and maybe we should be looking for opportunities that would take me or maybe rotate the range. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go with more of a neutral to bearish, kind of sentiment in the Nasdaq. Okay, as long as we stay below 25,584, which is the London initial balance range, and can break below 25,550. I say that we can easily get down to 25,500 in this market. Okay. Now, if we cannot break, we are getting a little bit of how we say indecision candles here at the bottom. We could easily rotate back to 25,640 or 25,640 and possibly beyond, because I am seeing the price of Nasdaq here up at these highs at 25,700. Now, I don't know if I've kind of mentioned this strategy in the past, but there is a 70 to 75% chance that price revisits the midnight price. Okay, so this is the price. This 25,700 was the price that was booked at the midnight time frame. Okay, midnight Eastern. Okay, and there is a 75% chance that we could see, based on statistics, that we could see price rotate all the way back to that level. Okay. That's what the strategy is saying. And if that's the case, that makes for quite the trade here. Okay. So again, neutral to bearish based on location on the market. But I feel like, and it's I need some more confirmation here on these candles, but it feels like the market wants to maybe remain in range here for today. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the ES here and see what we can secure from the ES with respect to context on the market today. So we'll go ahead and open up the continuous contract here. We'll start off with the daily chart here. Which team? Thank you, Anthony. Thank you. I have a new marketing person, Anthony. I have Marie, and now and it appears that you're offering me some wonderful marketing. Appreciate that. Okay. All right. Daily chart. Daily chart again. Market does appear to be in some sort of range, right? Appear to be in some sort of range here. Okay. You have. No. Well, I have two members of my marketing team, Marie and Anthony. They're always saying positive things about what I'm sharing. So that's my unofficial marketing team. Okay. All right. Take a look at the daily. Okay. Well, again, similar to what we were saying on the NASDAQ, right? Seems like a market that's in some sort of range. If it's continuing higher, it's not doing it with a whole lot of ease here, right? Lot in the way of overlapping candles here, right? So we had this ascending pattern that we were kind of tracking. We broke above it, right? You can see if I go ahead and draw this in, you can see that we had this ascending wedge, right? We broke above it, but we were not able to sustain above it before we kind of gap back down. Now we created a gap here. I don't know if that was a result of rollover or something else here. We created a gap here on Tuesday, right? We opened with a gap to the downside. It appears that we've pretty much filled that gap. Okay, so that would indicate that maybe there is a possibility that we could see, again, similar to what my kind of view was in the NASDAQ, we could see maybe a little bit of a continuation move here to the downside. We filled the gap. Whatever participant that drove price to the downside probably is kind of added to their portfolio, and now maybe we do see a continuation move here to the downside. Okay, taking a look at the 4-hour 4-hour chart again, we are developing a bearish candle here, a bearish engulfing candle, or maybe indecision candle, right? So again, similar to what we were saying, a lot of overlapping candles. Market is in range. Market is having some difficulty in deciding on which direction to take this market. Now, some will say, well, maybe we're creating a little bit of a rounding top, right? A rounding top would indicate that we're maybe looking for maybe another move here to the downside in this market. We pretty much, like I said, there's that gap that we were talking about earlier. We pretty much filled that gap here, right? We pretty much filled this gap right here, right? We filled that gap. So now the question is are the same people that created that gap, are they still present in the market? Are they still interested in taking this market lower? This is probably not the best view here. Let's change the opacity here a little bit. That didn't do much of anything. Oh, no background. Okay, well, we'll just do away with it. Okay. All right. So in any case, indications that we are in some sort of range. Okay. Taking a look at the 30-minute chart. 30-minute chart. You can see that price is starting to get below some of the levels that we care about. There's that midnight time. Okay. So again, if you believe that, if you are a believer of that strategy, and there's a good reason that you should, it is saying that this could serve as a target, okay, for the session, okay, right around this, what was this, 69.60 level, that this could serve as a target for this market before the end of the day, right? Right now, we're trading at 69.30, right? 69.30. So, or 69, yeah, somewhere in the 69.30 range. This again, you can see that maybe if that were to hold true, that would provide us a little bit of a W pattern here, right? Something along those lines. Oops. Okay. So let's take a look here at the initial balance ranges across the various sessions. Here we'll start off with Tokyo or Asia. Okay, Asia was initially bullish, and as we approach London, not so much. Okay, a lot of selling. Okay, but again, it was consistent with the range that we've been in. Right, we haven't been able to get above 69.70 of late. Right, we got a swing that got us to 69.65, and then we rotated back in the other direction. London, we're at the bottom end of the range and extending to lower. Okay. So if we do manage, this has been a level. If we are unable to hold this level, we've held it once. We came back to the VWAP, and now we're at that same level again. It'll be interesting to see if we can hold 69.30. If we cannot hold 69.30, again, I see 6900 or 6912, and possibly then we get to some interesting levels here, 68.50. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see whether we continue to hold below this below the initial balance range that's been established in London. Otherwise, there's the possibility that we remain in range, and if so, we close back inside the initial balance range and potentially rotate back to the high. So again, similar viewpoint that I had with the NASDAQ, I think also applies to the ES. I'm going to go with a neutral to bearish kind of rating on the NASDAQ. Now, I could easily see us, based on kind of the range price action that we've been seeing of late in this market, there's certainly the possibility that we could rotate back through and all the way to the highs of the day. Okay. But we will have to see and watch and witness these candles develop. Okay. All right, so let's take a look here at the last market here, and that's the Dow, and see what kind of context we can get in the Dow. Looks like that the Dow seems to be a little bit more bearish, a little stronger to the bearish side. We see the same kind of ranging candles. We see the same kind of set of candles that are kind of giving us the indication that the market is having some sort of difficulty moving higher, right? You can see that 49,000, this 50,000 level seems to be a level that's having some issue in getting above. Okay, we have a developing bearish candle. Okay, we filled the gap that was left on Friday. Okay, and now we are developing an inside candle from yesterday. So what is that telling me? Well, it tells me that we could remain in this range. We could remain inside this candle. High of 49,790, low of 49,234. We're trading to 315 right now. Okay. 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, again, similar to what we were saying about the other equity markets, we're seeing maybe a market that is tiring a little bit and moving to the upside. We are at the top end of the range at 49,800. We're not able to get above that 49,800 level. Could not find any buyers to take the market higher than that. Now we're seeing price get below our VWAP, below our 9 EMA. And now it appears that it wants to potentially revisit this 48,600 level that we see here. Okay. So that's kind of what I'm seeing on the 4-hour chart. Taking a look at the 30-minute chart, same kind of view here, right? Where we have price below our VWAP, below our 9 EMA. There's that midnight time, right? 49,600. Do we revisit? Do we come back to this level before the end of the day? Well, again, based on the strategy that says that happens, I don't know exactly for the Dow. I know for the ES, somewhere in the range of 70 to 75% of the time. Okay. Let's take a look now at the initial balance ranges that were developed across the various markets. We'll start off with the Asia market here. Taking a look at Asia again, you can see that we're pretty much range bound until pretty late. It wasn't until we got to London that we found some sellers in this market. Okay, so looking at the London market, you can see that that London is far more bearish, and that this market is far more bearish than either the other markets that we've seen so far. Now, where could price stall? Well, I see 49,250 as an area where we could potentially, I'm going to kind of move this down here a little bit. 45,250 could be an area where we could see a reversal in price. Okay. That would be a logical place, because I see that this area has been here before, right? And hasn't been there in some time. This would be a logical area to see some sort of reversal in price. Okay. So it's kind of what I'm looking at here, right? So if I go ahead and open up my arrow here, so I'm kind of looking at something along these lines, right? Like this, and then back. Okay. Oops. All right. Oh, it looks like gold is revisiting the midnight high. Okay, we'll take a gold here in a minute. So heading into the session, guys, I would say again, similar to the sentiment that I have for the other equity markets. We'll go with the neutral to bearish. Okay, when I say neutral, means more range kind of price action. Bearish is the current sentiment that I see, right? So we're technically bearish, right? Because we're all below our levels, but I understand based on the higher time frame, we've been in a range. So that's kind of why I arrive at that neutral to a bearish kind of rating. Okay, so let's take one last peek. We're getting some communication that maybe gold is revisiting those highs, that midnight high there. Well, there it is, right? We're starting to kind of grind our way higher. Now the question is, once we get to that level, will that level provide us a resistance area for price to reverse away from? Okay, the strategy is that price will get to this level, right? It could offer us, given this kind of fence line that's been created here on the left hand side, this 49.60 level could offer us a location where we do see price head lower from here. Okay, right? So that would be a kind of a lazy line level for those who understand that term. Okay, so gold, I would say has been maybe I think I might have given it a more of a neutral to bearish kind of rating, given the London swing to the downside. It'll be interesting to see what happens at this 49.60 level. This could offer us maybe a location, maybe for to participate. At least, guys, the idea here is that I've gotten some evidence here to the short side. I don't have to take all that much risk here, right, to participate in a downside move, right? Because again, I'm incorrect in that view if price does get above 49.70. Okay, so that's something that we have for the gold market. Take a look at the crude oil market. All right, looking at the crude oil market, looks like we've caught a little bit of a bid here. During London, we've reached the 200% extension, which is generally, I say generally, the kind of the last destination that we get on these kind of moves before we see some sort of retracement. So again, this would be a logical place that maybe we come back. Feels like I'm a little bit extended to the upside. I am seeing some bullish price action, but I think we might be a little bit overdue in getting a little bit of a retracement back, maybe to the 9 EMA, maybe back as low as the VWAP here. Okay, so right now we're trading at 69 or 60.90, kind of reacting away a little bit from 61. So we'll have to kind of wait and see what kind of initial balance range is being established here. So we'll just go ahead and open up the regular trading session here. There it is. Okay, so there's our regular trading session candle developing a little bit in the way of a bearish candle, but we'll have to see, right? We've been a lot of overnight buyers in this market. So if we are inclined to participate in that direction, then we would probably be better served in waiting for price to come down to these levels, or maybe we could even use the level that I've kind of drawn out here based on a prior area of resistance becoming supportive. This 60.80 level, I think, is the one I mentioned. could serve as an area for a continuation move to the upside. All right. Taking a look at, I kind of skipped silver here. Silver is probably giving us a little bit more of a bullish indication here, right? So silver actually has exceeded that midnight price. This didn't. So we're above the midnight price. So I don't know if that means that silver will eventually come back and retest 98,715 today. That I guess that would be maybe a little bit more consistent with kind of our view of gold. But market again continues to show signs of strength. I would say that it's important to stay above 99, okay, to kind of continue this bullish structure here to the upside. All right, let's take a look now at the equity markets. I think we were kind of bearish to neutral overall. Again, we're starting to see some development of a bullish candle here at a level of importance. I'm going to go ahead and color this in green here, okay, indicating some supportive. Again, we may be developing a little bit in the way of maybe a W pattern. We have our destination here up at this level here, right? This is the midnight price. So this could serve as a potential target, right? Target for the NASDAQ today, okay? But we'll have to wait and see. Again, we have established the level here, right? We've kind of currently reacting away from it. It'll be interesting for me to see what kind of candle we end up getting, and could generate maybe a 3-bar reversal pattern here. Okay, taking a look at the ES. Oops, if I knew how to type, I'd be a millionaire. Okay, all right. Similar kind of viewpoint, similar kind of stance here, right? We are in range, starting to develop a little bit in the way of some price action that would indicate maybe we are in the beginnings of some sort of double bottoming pattern here. Okay. So again, market that appears that it might want to rotate back to the highs here. Again, we'll have to wait and see. This exactly. I'm looking at a potential 3-bar reversal here in the ES. Okay. 3-bar reversal to the upside. Okay. We have obviously some interference here, right? We still need to get above 69.40, right? I guess to really clear that view. But yes, that's kind of my current view, right? So range kind of price action, maybe a rotation back to the highs here. Okay. All right. Taking a look at the last market here, and then maybe open it up to any questions people might have. The Dow doesn't seem to be aligned with that view. The Dow seems to be inclined to continue lower. Okay. So of the 3 markets, it does appear that the Dow is the weakest of the 3. Right, we're seeing NASDAQ and the ES show signs that maybe it wants to remain in range. The Dow, on the other hand, is showing us signs that it's looking to maybe continue lower. Okay, so that seems to be the most bearish of the markets here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and extend this line here. I think this is what is this here? Initial balance. Is that for, this is for the prior session. Let's take a look at the London. Okay. All right. So we're below that. So this area here would serve as a, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. This area here would maybe serve as a logical area, maybe for a continuation move to the downside. Okay. We have that midnight target up above. Doesn't look like we're getting the price action that would indicate that it wants to head back at that level. But anything can happen, right? Anything is a possibility here, okay? So I think that's pretty much what I have for you guys here with about 8 minutes to spare. Happy to entertain, if you're going to take a peek here at the gold. Happy to entertain any questions that you might have. Again, encourage you, if you're not already a subscriber, to subscribe. If you have not already, hit the like. If you're interested in a deeper understanding of how I trade and the context behind the ways I trade, consider become a member. Otherwise, do something. Do something that would support this channel and support my continued investment in it. Okay. So guys, I think with that, if there's no other questions, I'm going to leave you to that analysis, and wish you a a very positive equity day today in the markets. Okay. I asked the Discord, and now I feel right in. Let's see. Try to make your question here. Just trying to read your question here. Let's see. I asked in Discord, and now I know you teach. Would you trade IB ought to open? Yeah, I trade them in all. I entertain it in all markets, Anthony. The initial balance rate and the initial balance trade is something that I look at in all markets, right? So I mark up the initial balance range for Asia and New York mainly. I'm usually asleep for the London session, but yes, it's always that first hour that I take a look at. So, all right, guys. Anthony, if you have further questions, I'm happy to entertain it. Right. So I'll take a look at the question a little bit more in depth in Discord once I get off the call here. But otherwise, guys, trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Have a great trading day, guys. And I can't close without a go Rams, guys. Go Rams for all you Seattle fans out there. All right. Thank you so much, Anthony. I appreciate you. All right, guys, that's it for me. Have an excellent day trading, excellent weekend, and we'll be back at this bright and early Monday morning.